So with that being said, we're going to be able to renegotiate the rates that you guys have told us before we couldn't change earlier, correct?
It will depend on the structuring of the final estimates of the project, how that can be timed out, and hopefully the total price will be decreased by that.
So how big of a decrease are we talking in the schedule rate?
No.
There's no way to tell. It would be a whole renegotiation of the plan itself. Instead of it all being done by the end of 26, the whole $76 million worth, now it would be stretched out over a much longer period of time. Until the plan's done, we estimate what that plan will cost. There's no way to know what kind of money we would need.
Theoretically, though, if we're talking 75 million down to 25 million, that's a pretty big, significant decrease. I'm just throwing numbers at the wall. I could be totally off.
I'm not sure if that's the right number or not, but it'll be less.
Sure. My point being is if we've collected all of this money for an entire year as we renegotiate, how do we give that back to make it right?
Well, it doesn't say that the renegotiated plan is going to be free. I mean, let's say we do the 6119. We're still going to have to find a way to get the city's wastewater over to Baumhart Road. And building that line is not going to be cheap. It's going to be a one-time expense, but it's not going to be cheap. We're never going to have to renegotiate with the US EPA on how to rebuild it or anything like that once it's done. But my point is, I don't think much of this money we've collected so far is going to be something we can get back. It's probably going to be something we need, but future money, future increases would not be necessary.
And you think we can get this done by the end of 25?
I think we can negotiate, if US EPA gets back with an acceptance of our plan, then CDM Smith can get busy designing that that permitted what we're allowed to do, and then put a price tag on it, and then we can go about renegotiating the rates.
Then my one request would be for you to keep your foot on the gas with them and not let this fall to the wayside, and let's just keep it moving as fast as we can.
Believe me, this is at the top of every day's list. I mean, if there's a thing in the city that's breathing down our necks,
sure,
especially when the new rates come out, it's hard to, we're not exactly going to be able to ignore it.
Any questions or comments from members?
Right here. Yeah, I would echo Councilman Howells. Yeah, I received a phone call over the week. A family in my ward, we're going through extreme measures just to save money, or save money and save water. Save water just to save money. And again, we're all feeling it. Even us sitting up here feeling it. Like our President Aaron said, just like his wife, my wife was breathing down my neck as well. So, but yeah, I would echo Council Hollis said. We've got to keep the gas pedal down on EPA, put them, task them to negotiate, get CM, our folks that are working with us to keep on them as well. Because again, the story I heard over the week, this past week, was heartbreaking. It reminded me of growing up in the township when I grew up on well water, saving water. Folks in our city shouldn't be doing that. So we would ask that administration keep up on this. I appreciate it. All right, and I know our residents would too as well.
All right,
Thank you.
Council President. Councilman Williams.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions. So I'll go back and listen to this. I typically don't say a whole lot of stuff because I like to try and absorb all these things, but your good news is that we sent a letter to the EPA asking for an extension.
and they seem to be receptive to it.
Yeah, okay. I think I talked to somebody to us last time. And I was shocked that a colleague was shocked by the bill, considering that he voted for it. I just want to reiteration or just clarity, the increase in the sewer rates, what is that tied to again?
That was tied to a study that was done by CDM Smith, and they have a rate consultant analyst on retainer with them that did that. What they did was they looked at the average usage that was existent in the city at that time, as well as amortizing the cost of the total project out at the current interest rates to make sure that the original plan would be able to be funded.
So that, and I just want to make sure I know exactly what it is. That's that $6.9 million that we passed for CDM Smith, right?
It's based on CDM Smith, the 6.9 million is for the planning and design.
Correct.
What the rates are based on is to be able to fund the entire project that was proposed at 70 million.
That's why I was confused, because that's what I had always thought. I mean, I think a couple meetings ago we brought it up. It sounded like it was just that 6.9. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So that makes me feel a little bit better. And then, is that, sorry, I think I said it. That's just to show proof that we can pay back down.
Correct.
Yeah,
What was the, what is our yearly obligation to pay, what we're obligated today? And I'm assuming that's a portion towards the 6.9 million.
With the 6.9, we actually have not had to make any payments towards that. That will be done at the completion of that phase. So there's no payments made at this time.
So I still understand why us as council haven't revisited the table ordinance 24-53 and have a discussion about it with the money that we're getting from the real estate taxes, and we haven't identified a place to put it that's going in the general fund. Why can't we take a portion of it and put it towards this debt obligation and stop the increase that we just got? And I've been preaching this for months, right? It's just like a broken record, but we have the ability to do that. And I don't know why we're not.
We talked about it before. They said that we could not change the rate schedule as it sits now, even if we paid that $1 million down.
It was, we were unsure if we could do that. And I say we move ahead and we do it, and let somebody else tell us that we can't.
But it's not going to stop the next increase anyway, and it's not going to take away the 46 or 48%
We
now.
don't know what the next increase is. What we're paying for,
Yeah, I mean,
what we're paying for right now today is to pay back $70 million in the future.
no, it's to pay back 6.9.
It's not. It's not.
That's what we just clarified.
Our rate increase is to pay back the $70-some million.
But it's not going to change the rate that we're at now. And it's not
We
going to
don't need
change.
to obviously collect.
But we're going to throw $1 million out.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. But until we do know that, we should stop, take a pause, right? Use some of the money that we got from the real estate taxes to absorb the cost today. And at the end of the year, we can re-look at it, take another look at it when we know what the real costs are. We're billing our citizens an imaginary fund or a number that we have no idea what we're going to spend. We don't know if we're going to spend $70 million, and really, it sounds like we're not. If the 6119 comes through, I mean, how can we keep billing us, our residents, for $70 million when we all are sitting here? We know it's not going to be $70 million. We don't know what the final number is going to be, right? But if we go to the 6119, it's not going to be $70 million. It makes no sense. Why can't we just take a pause? Take a step back for a second, use some of the money that we got that we weren't expecting from the taxes to at least cover us this year, right? Gives us a little bit of relief until we actually know what the numbers are and we can bill our residents appropriately.
So my only question to that, and maybe you can answer this, if we take $1 million and throw at the rate schedule right now, does it change what everybody's paying a month tomorrow or next month on the billing cycle? It doesn't.
No.
They're not going to, that's what I'm saying, they're not going to change the rate schedule. So we throw
Why not? We can change that.
What's that? We can't. It's already been negotiated. It cannot be changed, if my understanding of it's right, it cannot be changed until it's renegotiated.
Council approved that rate hike.
If I may say,
We approved it, we can change it.
I'm not sure what council can or can't do, but it's as if right now we're paying on a McMansion. We've got a mortgage out to pay for a McMansion. What we're trying to do is renegotiate it more down to a condo. something we can afford. And at that time, we'll have a new loan, things will change. But for the time being, we're still stuck with this McMansion.
Because we don't know what EPA is going to come back and say. I mean, that's we cannot. I get it. Believe me, I get it. I don't think we can responsibly make a decision to find what the EPA says. We're spending council's money, the people's money, when we don't know what it's on. Makes me sick. We could be losing, but we'd be in a much better position after we find out what the EPA says in this critical juncture to make a decision on the people's money. That's kind of where I'm coming from.
We do know what it's on right now, but what's on right now is the very clear mandate that the U.S. EPA has made of us that we need to rehab the total wastewater. We know that. Right. That's what we're paying for. We're trying to buy out smaller house.
If that comes back positive for the city, then I think we can make that decision. It makes me sick, the situation we're in. But
to me, it's not like we're saying stop collecting the money and we're going to have no money towards this project. I'm saying reallocate the money that we're getting from the taxes to cover what our residents would be paying now until we can figure it out, right? Make it even. What would we be collecting a year with the increase? What do you anticipate? 300,000, 400 more?
I wish you'd asked me before the meeting so I could have been ready to answer that for you.
Rough idea?
No.
$500,000?
No. I'm not going to throw out numbers and then have them be, like I say, I wish you could have asked me before the meeting and I'd have brought the information with me. Those aren't.
I think I've asked you before, I thought it was in the $300,000 range.
But you know what, that was one of those times when we were just sitting here and off the cuff. And that's not fair.
Can I ask something?
Absolutely.
So, like, what?
That's President's running the meeting.
Oh, sorry. Can I ask?
All right. You got me on a weekday.
All right. So, like, I share the same sentiment, right? Like, I lose sleep at night thinking about this because the same thing's going on with everybody else. My wife's breathing down my neck. How the hell do you do this? And then, we gotta write this check type of thing. My whole thing at this point is even if we take that money and let's say it's $300,000, I have no idea if it is. If we do take the $300,000 to compensate for it, it's a small percentage on the 46%, 48%, whatever the heck it may be. It takes off 3% off the top. What is it really saving other than it's throwing $300,000 down a hole at this point that we don't know where it's going to go? I think the responsible thing, if I understand it all, is we wait to renegotiate, we refund a percentage each month, and then work towards what they renegotiate. But I think that we really need to have a hand in the whole negotiation portion too. Not just, here's what we come up with, like a seat at the table, so to speak. And I know we always do because we have a voice, but maybe we form a subcommittee to be a part of that, and somebody from this board or two people from this board sit in on those meetings as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's 3%. I think we back off the 40% increase that just hit us. That's where I'm going. We back off that 40%.
But if the 40%
supplement it with the property tax.
I want to interrupt everybody earlier. I just want to take this rare opportunity, it's like Haley's comment, that I agree with Council President Steve Herring, what he just said, 100%. Thank you.
Okay, we're at a it's extremely unfortunate, and but I do think there's good news hopefully coming around the corner. And I agree. If the council member wants to send me an email or send everybody an email if they want to sit in on that.
Because of the magnitude of this project and the length of generations which it's taken us to get here, this thing is moving excruciatingly slow. Plus, we're working with the federal government, so things are moving, and they're moving in our favor, but it ain't moving fast.